apparently I'm live. And so what do I want to do here? I just thought what I would do would be to go live so I could, if I go longer than 15 minutes, it'll download by itself if I go live. I don't have to figure out how to download an hour-long movie. So I'm gonna do this. I'm not prepared, I just am doing it. Shocking. I don't know if you can go live and make a casting video. Never known anybody to try that. Probably they do, but. Hey Scott, hey buddy. I'm going live. I'm just gonna do some casts. I'm gonna do a casting video on this new place here and try to give some pointers. And the reason I'm doing it this way, oh my goodness, that's cold. I'm wet waiting. The reason I'm doing it this way is because if I go on longer, then I won't have to monkey with editing and stuff. So anyway, I'll grab my rod and I'll get going here. Thought my rod was ready, but I'll rig it up while I'm talking. And of course I've hooked myself already because I put my hook on before I did everything else. Because I put no forethought into this. Not that I don't think about it 24/7, but I think about way too much. And so what I'm doing here, I've got my Beulah Classic. It's a 12-foot 7-inch, 7/8 weight. It's just a really nice stick. Works well for Skagit and Scandi. It's better for Scandinavian shooting heads than Skagit, but as I've got better at Skagit casting, I get along with it pretty good now. So I'm removing my, I think I got T14 on here, removing my T14 sink tip, and I'm not sure. See, I usually throw this outfit, I didn't think about that, on my 13-foot 9-inch Angler's Roost Euro Scandi. It was a 14-foot, and I took 3 inches off the tip so I'd make the tip stiffer, which works really good. And then, so that makes it probably like a 7/8 or an 8 weight. Holy crap. This is super cool. There's guys watching this, and I need Charlie to come down here and holy shnikes. I need Charlie to come down here and do my chatting for me. Somebody chatted something and I didn't respond. Anyway, sorry guys. Let me get this all set up. Actually, I'll read my chat and see if I can answer a question or two for you. I apologize if, I promise this will be worth your while. This is not the way to do it. But I'm a ready, fire, aim guy, not a ready, aim, fire guy. You got to do stuff. You got to quit overthinking stuff. That's my motto. You got to do stuff and you got to quit overthinking stuff. You know, Nike's thing that they say, just do it. Mine's like that, only I just say do it. There's no just. Do it. Whatever you're thinking about doing, so long as it's the right thing, do it. So I decided to live stream. Let me see if I can get that chat up. Guys, some messages such as potential spam may not be visible. All messages are visible, okay? So, I don't even know if I'm coming in here, but Scott Crosby, are you still on there? It says I'm live. So what I have on here, 500 grain Rio Skagit short. It's an old timer. It's like 8 or 10, 6, 8, whatever years old. It was back before they had the new technology. But this thing is always casts and fish really good, and it shows up in video. And I don't mind not having the latest and greatest. You just can't keep up if you try to have the latest and greatest. If you have a lot of disposable income, you can do that, but and more power to you if you do. I'm watching for sure. Love your tips. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. You're looking good. Do it. Don't worry about the chat answer later. Okay. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that, buddy. I'm looking forward to getting together with you, doing some fishing. But I say we go down there because I want to catch some steelhead. Maybe this fall when the half pounders are, I don't know how all that works, but yeah, we got to fish, Scott Crosby. Love those flies you sent me. You guys are looking for some custom flies. Scott Crosby on here does a great job. He's on Facebook. And hi guys. Thank you for joining. Okay, let's do some casting. And as usual, stuff's gonna get snagged up, but that is what you deal with. I really hope this does not go in the drink. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I tried to get down here when the light was on the water and the line would show up. Oh, good. Oh, shoot. I hope that's going to show up good. Here's the thing I wanted to concentrate on today. I really wanted to talk about the single Spey cast, but some of these things I'm going to talk about. See, I got that long line on there, so I'm going to have to adjust my stroke. This is raw footage, right? No editing. Okay, so, of course, I'm gonna move down a little bit, guys, because I don't want that stinking. There's always gonna be the cattails here. So, what I wanted you guys to see is on this single spey, the single spey, I think one thing, the single spey is so simple because all it is, if you're just starting out and if you're just starting out with a single spey, first of all, strip your shooting head to right here, okay? And then think about this. All you're really doing is lifting your line. It's downstream on the dangle, lifting it, setting it down, casting it. It is so simple. So okay, it's there. I'm gonna lift it slow, sweep, cast. Lift, sweep, cast. That's all there is to it. The thing that I think people get confused with on the single spey, we've been told, and it's, I'm not saying it's false or anything, but we've been told that for a normal single spey cast, what we're going to do is we're going to lift kind of high, then we're going to come down and lift up and then cast. So it's like this, lift, running line slipped through my hand. Hang on, we'll get her. Okay, lift, cast, okay? And then, so we lift high, we go up, then down a little, and back up, and cast, okay? And then for the advanced single spey, we're gonna do a flat, low sweep. We're gonna get a tight V-loop. So, and when you see me doing this, I'm just roll casting my line to get it floating good on the water so I can cast easy. So we're told, accelerate, boom, get that high, that fast D-loop. Fast, flat V-loop, supercharged V-loop. Oh. So, normal single spey, lift high, sweep, and cast. But for an advanced single spey, we're going to lift low, sweep fast and flat. Okay, so, and there is some truth to that. My problem was, I always tried to make my sweep so ridiculously fast that because I got the impression, I can't say anybody gave it to me, but I got the impression that if you made this supersonic V-loop, your line would just pop off the rod. It just would shoot off there, you know, almost supernaturally. So my time was spent, especially on longer lines, my time was spent lifting and then sweeping really fast. See, and when I did that, my anchor crumpled up back here, and my fly, which I got a little nymph on there for this floating line, my fly ended up in the cattails. And the problem, there's a cattail now. The problem is, and when you try to get it too fast and too flat and too crazy, crazy accelerated, you run into problems with, you run into problems with consistency, and the real thing you want to get is if I'm casting, okay, I don't know if you guys can see. I'm casting towards that green clump of grass. I want my fly to land just a little bit to the right. I want my anchor to land here, right in front. So if it lands, the end of my fly line lands there, and my anchor, which is, well, my fly, I want my fly to land right in line with where I'm casting. It's gonna slip a little bit, and you're not gonna get a collision loop, but what you are gonna get is your alignment's gonna be right, and that's gonna get you better turnover, further cast. The more out in front of you you can get that single spey cast, as long as it's not gonna collide with your forward cast, the better your cast is gonna be, especially with long lines. Okay, good, thanks, Scott. Scott is my moderator. Scott, thank you, buddy, for stepping up for me. So, I want to set my anchor right there. That's a little, it should be upstream a little bit. I would cast there almost. So, instead of worrying about getting a supersonic V-loop, just get a good V-loop. A good healthy V-loop means there's zero slack and there's plenty of tension. So think more of, especially like if you have say you have a little, like an OPST short shooting head, you can really, really slow down on your sweep and worry about your anchor placement. You can lift here and then just let that anchor, just let it just glide and slide and lightly land into place. The most important part is this part right here. That you go up at a gradual incline for your sweep. So I'm gonna lift towards the target a little bit. I'm not gonna lift straight downstream for this application. I'm gonna lift towards my target. I'm gonna point my toes towards the target. And I'm gonna twist my body downstream. And then I'm gonna lift to medium height. And when I twist, I'm gonna push out with my bottom hand and rotate my body. The thing I will say about that is you gotta use it, do what works best for you. So you keep, but you have to keep your hands in front of you. That's a hard and fast rule for me. And push with your bottom hand and rotate your body. Okay, that anchor landed right in front of me and the cast went off just fine. And the sweep doesn't have to be lightning fast. You can sweep like this. Wait. Okay, wait. There she lands. Cast, okay? So this is a little longer than a Scandi. It's heavier than the Scandi, but it's not a Spey line by any means. So I'm gonna lift, rotate and push with my bottom hand. Boom. Kind of a, you guys can probably see it's kind of a crappy looking. I'll get out here more. Toes towards the target. Lift, push out with my bottom hand, rotate my body. Okay, that anchor was a little too close for comfort. I have zero wind. Lift and push. I'm gonna okay. We're gonna lift smooth and slow in the lift. With the lift, we're just trying to make the fly come out clean and not stick in the water or not come out too early. It's not rocket science. You just lift slow, smooth, across your body, rotate and push out. So now I'm going to do it without talking and just try to get some good casts. See how twisted my body is? Okay, that time I had a lot of anchor stick. Oh, shoot. Still a lot of anchor stick. I'll get it for you. That time I hooked myself in the belly. That hurt. Let me get out here further. There. Okay, that time I set the anchor upstream a little bit. Do one more. Oh, sure. My old friend the cattail. I may not have a fly, but that doesn't matter. That fly was so little anyway. So, that's the mechanics right there. Except for we haven't talked about the forward cast yet, and we will. But I wanted to make I guess I do have my fly. Here's a point I want to make. So you know that I'm facing the target and then I twist downstream. My feet, so my body's really twisted before the cast. And my hands, watch where they are at the start of the lift and how smooth and slow the lift is. That's cool. The other thing is, you sweep with you rotate your body and push out with your bottom hand. How much you want to do either is up to you. You can lock your hands and sweep and then push out later, or you can push out throughout. I kind of do a little of both. To me, there's an area right in about this part of the sweep, kind of towards the end, that kind of helps me to, especially with longer lines, to set my anchor. But here's the thing. I showed you at the very first how easy it is just to lift your line out of the water, say with half your head out, lift the line, sweep, and cast. The main problem you're going to get into with this is overthinking it. Don't overthink it. I got a really cool message from James Chalmers on my Instagram video I did about gale force lines, which are really sweet lines. And somebody asked me why my rod tip was so low at the end of the cast, because they were expecting to see 10 to 2, and I was going like from 130 to 3, 230. So and I said, well, it's probably because my arms got a little bit far behind me, and my rod angle was too horizontal, and so I had to make up for it by ending with my tip low, which is not ideal, but James Chalmers got on there and said, don't overthink it. Your bastardized cast works pretty good. Anyway, very nice. So on the don't overthink it part, that's the problem, I think, when you try to make too big of a science. There's a science and an art to spey casting. It's not all just science. You have to figure out what works best for you. And it's like Ed Ward. He does what's best for him. He doesn't follow anybody's rules. And so the rule makers get on there and say, oh, Ed Ward, he creeps. He's creeping in his cast. But if you creep and you're casting better than anybody else, then maybe that's a sign that you need to be a little more, this is not religion. This is not a deal where the letter of the law kills, but the spirit gives life. So you got to think of the spirit of what we're talking about and not get so caught up in the minutia or however they say that, of stuff that may or may not matter. You just got to, so you saw me trying to explain the cast and botching about half a dozen of them at least. And then when I just said, okay, I'm not going to talk, and I just threw in a little bit of quit thinking and rear back and throw. As long as my elbow, my top hand elbow doesn't get back here, I want it pinned to my side or at least near to my side, and my bottom hand is doing the sweeping. That gives me full advantage of my lever, my fulcrum. See, I want the fulcrum here, not here, not on my bottom hand. If you use all top hand, that's your fulcrum right here. If you use bottom hand and top hand, your fulcrum becomes this, your lever. Okay, and it's a marriage between the right and the left hand, up in the top and the bottom hand, and you got to use them both to your advantage. The problem is, though, it's so easy to use your top hand, and that's why I constantly am reminding you guys to remember your bottom hand. And if you sweep with your bottom hand, and if you squeeze your bottom hand, and if you keep your elbow here, you have to use your bottom hand. And if you use your bottom hand for all that, you're more apt to use your bottom hand right here. And right here, see, it's stretched out, my elbow's in front of me. Boom, I don't have to use a lot of top hand, but I can with a longer line. Okay, so don't overthink it. If you stick to those things I'm talking about, then this will not be hard on your body. That is the other hard and fast rule I think there should be. For me it is. If it's hard on your body and it strains your back and your shoulders are sore, that is when you need to, well, that is a no-no. If you're sore and tired after a day of spey casting, spey fishing, then you're I don't want to say you're doing it wrong, but you're doing it wrong. But if you're doing it wrong and it doesn't hurt you and you're taking full advantage of the lever and the fulcrum and making your rod do the work, then if you're happy, then I wouldn't mess with it. But if you're tired and there's still some things you're not real happy about with your Spey cast, then I would say that's when you need to really change your cast. You really need to keep your hands right here. Keep your hands right in front of you. So your hands, oh shoot, I'm running out of battery, guys. Your hands should be up here, okay? Keep your hands up here. Use your bottom hand to push. Rotate, you can rotate you keep your elbow here, then it's fine to go back here. You can go out as far as you want here. See, if you don't let this hand go out here, then you're gonna really have a stagnant cast. It's gonna be sterile. You're gonna be way out here. But if you allow your elbow to stay pinned, but your top hand to get back as far as you want, then you still can use your top hand properly. And okay, so I'm just gonna go out and cast for a little bit, and you guys can think about all those words I said. That time my anchor didn't get far enough upstream. So the sweep is just medium. I want it to have a little bit of, I want it to have a little bit of speed to it, but not crazy speed. And so what I'm gonna do with this lift is lift slow, rotate slow, and when I get past the target, that's when I'm putting the oomph into my sweep. With little short lines, not so much. Little short lines, you can just go like this. Lift, sweep, cast. Because the little short lines like the OPST heads, they're rear weighted, so you barely even have to have a D-loop. It's the rear weight of that heavy little head that's gonna make your rod load very easy, and it's gonna load on the forward cast. So you don't need a supercharged V-loop. You just need a soft anchor placement like this. Lift, place, cast. You're gonna go from here to here. Really want my line to show up. That was the whole idea of this. So, you're gonna lift here, here, and you're gonna have plenty of time to watch that anchor float into place. And I mean, if you have a light anchor, like with an OPST head and one of their little floating tips, that thing will shoot off your rod like a rocket. But when you get to the longer lines, that applies to most 33 foot Scandi heads. But when you get a little bit longer line like this, it's got a Scandi head. No, it's got a Skagit body 15-foot replacement tip, that's 35, 10-foot poly leader, and a 3-foot mono leader. So when I cross my target, I'm going to put some oomph in that sweep. So I'm going to cast a little more downstream, give myself a little. So there I go again. Okay, that was a crumpled anchor. When you sweep smooth, you want that anchor just to slide in there with no crumple. You want it to be straightened out. Okay. I'm hoping that the sweep shows this anchor just gliding in nicely. I'm not trying to go for supersonic. I just want it smooth and floaty like that. That sucked. Hang on, I'll get a good one here. I'm not scared. There. Push out with the bottom hand on the sweep and rotate the body. Have a nice smooth sweep at an inclined plane. Boom. Okay, anchor was right out in front of me. Okay. Try it closer. I really wish you guys could see this loop. It's kind of cool. Cast downstream a little bit. Yeah. That's what happens when you don't get up in the morning, people. Should have been out here at daylight. Now I'm hitting my cattails again. Supposed to be a cast you can do that Klaus Primor does, where you rotate do a circle to the right and it pitches your anchor out in front. I'll try it. Try it again. So you lift, rotate clockwise, the opposite of a spiral spey. So a spiral spey, counterclockwise. You lift, circle, holy cow. I killed myself. Did I mention this was raw? Uh-oh, my little battery deal's calling. I got 10% here, guys. I hope you're there. So, for the spiral spey, we go counterclockwise. So that's the anchor right in front of you. If you want to fish using the single spey, try to do the spiral spey. You lift, you do a slow. It's really not hard. You should try to do some of these harder things and you'd find out they're not as hard if you just give them some time and practice for a few hours. So, okay, here's the spiral spey. Gonna lift, circle. Okay, now I'm getting a little sloppy using more top hand and stuff, but I'm just trying to show you a few quick things that'll help you. So, left, circle, push out. There's the cast. So, and that seems to be getting my anchor more out in front of me than just the single spey. But I'm going to do it clockwise now. So left, clockwise. Wait a minute. Left. Okay, now that did get my anchor way out in front. I'll try to get it out there so you can see it. Well, it flies. What the heck am I doing? Something ain't right. Okay. And I'm going to grip my hands a little closer together to get a little more line speed. So, now that time I had a crumpled anchor. Okay, time to quit talking and just let her fly. So we're going to do a counterclockwise. Nah, I'm screwing that up. Something don't seem right about that. See there, I got a bloody L. Yeah, I don't know. So, only thing we haven't talked about is the forward cast. Forward cast, we want this angle, elbow in front, bottom hand out, my rod tip pointing back to 2 o'clock, and then I'm gonna, the long and short of it is, I'm gonna pull with my bottom hand and push with my top hand. With a short line, you don't have to use a lot of top hand. You can, here's a short top hand. Okay, that was bottom hand, okay? So, the longer, now this is me. There may be other rules I'm unaware of, but for me, if it's a short line, I want to make sure I'm using a ton of bottom hand and less top hand, just because, okay? Because that's the way Scandi guys do it. So bottom hand, you can't use all bottom hand. Your top hand has to travel a little bit, okay? So, short line, elbow here, push out. Oh, that was an ugly loop. I cannot lie. But your top hand does not have to travel very far. Your bottom hand goes like this. Around and up into your belly if you really want to be a Scandi guy. So, and with your bottom hand pull, you got to accelerate. Okay? It's not bam, it's like accelerate right into the belly. That was ugly too. The idea is you don't just kill yourself with your bottom hand. It's got to go from first, second, third, fourth gear, right through the gears. And then with a short line, it travels less far than your top hand. Well, that was just beautiful. You hear that? So, like this, okay? Okay? Forgot to hit myself in the stomach. But you get the idea? Not very much top hand. Okay? But you have to use some top hand. And you can use more if you want. The idea with the, and you know, they're kind of both, you know, the bottom hand's doing this and the top hand's going down. But with the longer lines and even the shorter lines, I mean, practice this and play with it and see what you guys come up with. But I just want to make sure that I'm pulling with my bottom and pushing with my top, or pulling with my bottom and pulling with my top in kind of, but they still got to be pushing and pulling against each other. So long and short of it is, pull with your bottom, push with your top. So okay, I used a ton of top hand there, and that thing flew like a scalded dog. Okay? Just, okay, now I'm just gonna push. I'm not gonna pull down with my top hand. I'm gonna try to push it in a straight line. Okay, that, I don't know, that didn't work out very good. But the bottom line is, it's gotta be smooth. You have to accelerate. Okay, and you gotta remember to use both. So the more you get your bottom hand involved, like here, I'm gonna squeeze with my bottom hand. I'm gonna push out with my bottom hand before the lift. Okay, push. And even though I had too heavy of an anchor, I had a proper push and pull with the bottom, push with the top. I mean, it's really simple. You know, there's nothing, it really just takes practice, okay? That was a good cast. I just hit those stinking cattails once more. So, so I'm gonna lift higher and sweep slower. Okay? So, anyway, I hope that you guys are still here. I don't even know what's going on. Thank you so much for watching this. Now, in the next time, I'm going to talk about some more Skagit stuff. I didn't want to mix the two, but I got, next time you watch, we'll do some Skagit stuff, and I have some ideas that will help you. Hey, thanks, Scott. Was anybody else on here, Scott? Can you tell? I got some Skagit-y stuff that we can talk about and play with. But anyway, I hope I didn't confuse you. And I just wanted to talk about some stuff. And I apologize for the poor casting. It won't happen again. Okay, thanks, Scott. Anyway, guys, yeah, live is pretty neat. And this will be in the archive, Scott, so I'll be able to to make a description, put up a bunch of tag words and put this on the YouTube channel, and that way I'll have a really long video, which will be really great. So thank you, God bless you all, happy casting, and I'm gonna end this so I don't lose it, and then I'm gonna cast a few more times. Another thing to think about, don't worry about the 180-degree rule. Just sweep. If you sweep across here, don't sweep all the way behind you. Don't sweep, don't go like this. Don't sweep to here. Just sweep to up there, upstream. By the time that anchor hits, your D-loop's gonna swing around and be right behind you by the time you're ready to cast. By the time you're ready for your forward stroke, and lift, sweep,